Hey, I'm Blake Williams with Super Inspector and Super Concierge, and today we're going to talk about a common problem here in North Texas, which is termites. I've been involved in the pest control industry for over 20 years now. I've done thousands of termite inspections, done thousands of termite treatments, and dealt with other pest problems as well. Carpenter ants, other types of wood destroying insects like carpenter bees, carpenter wasps. These are all things that are going to come up on a, quote, termite inspection. The proper name for it is a wood destroying insect inspection. That's the official name in the state of Texas. In other states, it might be called a wood destroying organism inspection. So either a WDI, wood destroying insect, or WDO, wood destroying organism. So Super Inspector is a licensed pest control company. And so we are licensed to do termite inspections. That's the same license that's required for a company that does treatments. And so with every inspection, we do a termite inspection. All of our inspectors are licensed pest control technicians in the termite category. And it's kind of interesting when we're dealing with a real estate transaction and we're talking about termites. It can be kind of a hairy situation, and really for no good reason. When you have a lender, especially on a VA loan, who requires a wood destroying insect report, they want to see a completely clear report. So what we do when we go out is we look at the house and we note any areas on the property that might be conducive to wood destroying insect infestation. And this can include a lot of things. It can be excessive moisture, wood rot, wooden fences in contact with the house, heavy foliage, where you just have bushes or vines growing on the house. These are all conducive conditions to wood destroying insect infestation. And so we have to report those. And we don't have a choice, that's by the state regulation. And then additionally, we're going to point out any areas where we see evidence of active infestation. So if we see termites actually entering the house, carpenter ants foraging on the house, carpenter bees, whatever it is, if they're infesting the house, we're going to report those. And then we're also going to report evidence of any type of previous treatment, which can come in many forms. So we might see a treatment notification sticker under the kitchen sink. We might see where they drilled holes in the front or back porch in order to treat under those slabs. So we'll see a little half-inch hole that's been drilled and patched over. And that's all evidence of previous treatment, and we're required to report that. Now, where the problem comes in is when we have to report conducive conditions and the VA loan underwriter wants to see a report with no conducive conditions on it. And whenever the Texas Department of Agriculture, who regulates pest control companies, comes out, they want to see conducive conditions listed on every single WDI report that we do. So they do an audit, they look at several of our reports, and they look for conducive conditions. If they're not there, if the property is listed as having no conducive conditions, that's a red flag to them, and they're going to question us about that. Juxtaposed to the needs of the VA loan underwriter, who wants to see a report that says under conducive conditions, no. And so we have that friction between the loan underwriter and the Texas Department of Agriculture, and we're kind of in the middle. Sometimes we might report a conducive condition that we don't really necessarily think the client needs to correct or needs to treat. We're just letting them know that it's there, and the loan underwriter wants it corrected or wants the house treated, and for no good reason. I've had times where I've put on the report, we do not recommend that the conducive condition be corrected. And the loan underwriter still came back and wanted to see it corrected. And I had some words with an underwriter on an occasion about that and just said, so you're recommending correction and I am the licensed professional and I am not recommending correction. So are you going against my recommendation? And he quickly backed off and said, okay, I see where you're going with this. And so sometimes it's just a matter of making sure that you read the report and communicate what's on the report back to the underwriter so they understand. Because all they're looking for is under conducive conditions, there's two check boxes. One says yes, one says no. If the box is checked yes, then they send it back. And so they're not reading the whole report down where the recommendations are. So as a real estate agent, you may be able to go back to that underwriter and say, hey, did you read these recommendations? This is what the inspector is saying. Or the loan officer may be able to do that for you. And that may take care of the problem right there, instead of having to pay the inspector to come back out, do another inspection once the thing has been corrected, the conducive conditions. And that costs you more money, and it's really totally unnecessary. So that's one of the rubs when we're talking about termite inspections. Look forward in the future to other things. We'll talk more in depth about what we're looking for when we do these inspections, and what you can expect and what you might look for when you're on a listing appointment or showing a house to a buyer. That's Blake Williams with Red Flags on Inspections, Super Inspector and Super Concierge. Thanks.